Hi guys, welcome back finally to another video. The depressing state of American politics lately have kept me focused on my studies. Today I'm back and I'm going to do the first Senate and House election prediction this year or this season, because the Senate is not going to take that long really. It's going to be a quick affair. So yeah, let's start with the blank map. Some of them are quite obvious. Nothing's gonna change here. Josh Hawley is safe. Indiana, despite the retirement, is going to be safe, and a lot of seats are of course safe Democrats, including Amy Klobuchar. And yeah, that is it. Now, Ted Cruz is seen by many as being much more safe this time, and I agree. Rick Scott as well. I think Rick Scott will win by a bigger margin than that. But let's just cut straight to the chase, the important ones. Virginia, nothing's going to change there. Tim Kaine is running, and maybe if Youngkin ran, it would be a lean. But that's not happened yet. VP, I'm just going to make a prediction on the vice presidency. Michigan is actually the only lean Democratic, because they do have a strong candidate among the Democrats with Elissa Slotkin, and Republicans could get a strong candidate as well, but we will have to wait and see. In Wisconsin, it is also only lean because of Tammy Baldwin, and we might have a good candidate. Mike Gallagher might run, and then you have Tom Tiffany. I think it's still going to be lean, but of course all of these are up for change later, including Pennsylvania, where there is actually safe. For now, this can change, and it's basically because Bob Casey has won with such big margins before, and he is apparently running. And among the Republican candidates who have expressed interest and talked about running now, they're all terrible. They're all candidates who lost in 2022 and are going to lose again if they run now. So we need some fresh blood, preferably one of the more experienced members of the US House. I was disappointed that Fred Keller didn't run last time. But anyway, let's go to West Virginia. I agree that it is a lean R Manchin, even though if he decides to run for re-election, both Alex Mooney and the governor Jim Justice might be very formidable candidates there. I'm going to leave Arizona as a toss-up actually, because that's a three-way race. You know what, actually I'm going to put a lean Democrat. Yes, it is depressing, but cinema is way more popular among Democrats. No, among Republicans than Democrats. Actually, since we have tilt option, I'm going to use tilt lean in Nevada, where Adam Laxalt is not running, and the Republicans also don't seem to have a good candidate there yet, but it is a state that is trending red, and if more experienced Republicans decide to join, anything can happen, right? Now in Ohio you have two strong Republicans who are potentially running, and that's Frank LaRose and Warren Davidson. And considering that one of them are likely to be the nominee and it's a presidential year, I'm actually going to put it as tilt R. And Montana, that is the last one. I don't have strong faith in any of the candidates, but it is going to be a presidential election, so tilt R. Might be optimistic, but these are the three Republicans need to win. In Montana, everyone has some weaknesses. Like Ryan Zinke was kind of corrupt in the Trump administration, and Matt Rosendale might not appeal to moderates and centrists at all. But anyway, we put it at the Republican Senate for now, and let's get over to the US House. Yeah, let's start with this map, the competitive 2022 map. I'm not sure if it's the best, but it is going to have to work for now, and let's do state by state, because why not? Nothing in Alabama, Alaska. Yeah, Alaska is one big mess, but considering the record of Mary Peltola, I'm just going to have to guess that she is winning again. And yeah, my web page is a bit slow now, I'm not sure why. Hopefully it solves. Arizona. This one, they actually have Eli Crane. I mean, he is not the strongest candidate, but his district is way redder than it used to be. So he's going to win. And when it comes to Juan Ciscomania, I might as well take this one. Ciscomania is also going to win, it's going to be likely, because this district is not trending blue like David Schweikert's is. And he is a very good fit for the district, and he's an incumbent in a presidential election year. Remember that. Incumbency matters. With Schweikert is a bit difficult. He won very narrowly, and it was meant to be a red wave year, but no. If you look at the elections otherwise, Black Masters didn't do too well. This is hard. This is very hard. Okay, let's put it as lean R for now. Could be Lindy. I might actually prefer having it as a toss-up, but no, Tiltar. Because that one is going to be very competitive, I think. Nothing in Arkansas. Let's go straight to California, the big enchilada, or actually not the big enchilada, but one of the big states. I think Kevin Kiley is going to be likely, if not safe, this time around. He is an incumbent in a presidential election year. Remember that. And up here, Josh Harder. That was on. I believe that district actually voted for the Republican candidate for governor, but it's going to vote for Josh Harder again. John Duarte, that's one of the big questions, but some of these are not surprisingly going to go to the Democrats. Maybe even safe margins. A bit closer with Jim Costa. And David Valadao and Mike Garcia, I think they will still both win. This is a presidential election year, but those districts are double digits for Biden, so I'm not going to go for likely right yet. And with John Duarte, I believe he also has the advantage, though many would actually put this as lean Democrats. In the Los Angeles area, we have some quite endangered Republicans in Michelle Steele and Mr. Ken Calvert. It's actually been a while since I made this prediction, so I don't remember all the names as well as I usually do. Mike Levin, on the other hand, he is going to win. That's likely, if not safe, simply because he survived last time and he did better than Katie Porter, who is running for Senate. And that means that Scott Pao, the Republican candidate from last time, has the chance to make a comeback and win. But since it is not a red wave year, well, it wasn't last time either, but I just think that it is still slightly favored for the Democrats. I don't even know if he is running. So, and yes, here we have it, lean R with Lauren Boebert. I don't think I need to explain that one. It was a big surprise that it was so extremely close in 2016. And then you have the other district, which is maybe competitive. Okay, so it went for the Democrats by less than a point. And some people are saying that this is a district that's trending Democratic, but how do they know? What are the data? It voted for Biden for president, and I think it will vote for the Democrats for president again, and there is an incumbent, so let's say tilt Democrat, if not lean. It was a very big missed opportunity last time. Connecticut is not the one, but that's likely this time. I mean, come on. Delaware, nothing. Florida. Florida actually has some exciting districts. I believe that most of them are going to stay with the incumbent, because, well, that's Maxwell Frost. Darren Soto, he is more of a long-timer. He is not as new as Maxwell Frost. I think that he will win. I don't know why people are having it as competitive. The same wave will not hit Florida as did last time. But Ron DeSantis actually won this district. He won it in the governor race. It voted for him. So, but yeah, that was a big stretch. I still think it will be likely. There is no way you can reshape that wave that you saw in Florida in 2022. Not in a presidential election year. In Georgia, yeah, likely. Well, many of these maps are already shaped in a way that will definitely send the district one way or another. It's not really exciting. And in Illinois, I fear that also no change will happen, even with Eric Sorensen's district. But this can, of course, change. It is a very early prediction. It can become lean. I'm not going to argue against that. Indiana, I don't know why anyone thought I would ever flip. Yes, it was closer than usual, 5.6, but it is an urban district. It was basically the area that flipped the state for Obama in 2008, sorry. So nothing there. Iowa. I don't know why people think that all of these are so competitive. I think that everyone will now have a big advantage, including Zach Nunn. Yes, he won by narrow margin last time, but then he was against an incumbent. Now he is the incumbent in a presidential election year. We all know that Trump has won this state and all of the districts twice. So yeah, I don't think that there is any real hope for any of the Democrats in that state. In Kansas, on the other hand, yeah, Sharice Davids, she did quite well, and she probably will again. I'm not going to touch that one. State of Kentucky, nothing actually. Louisiana, nothing. Maine, how are the Maniacs doing? Okay, so Jared Golden won by the same margin as Trump, but that was against Bruce Poliquin. Well, let's just start by putting it up there as a likely D. I think that is a quite good one. This is a very split ticket state, you know. Maine split tickets, as do Maryland, but that was with Larry Hogan. They're not going to split it this time around. And Massachusetts has nothing. Michigan, this one might be exciting. So yeah, this map turned out to be quite bad for the Republicans, much like the one in Ohio. What the hell are you going to do about it? John James, I think this time, on the fact of being an incumbent, I think it is likely he will actually win. Elisa Slotkin, she is not running for re-election. I don't know if Tom Barrett is running. I don't know if he was even that strong of a candidate, but I'm going to put it as tilt D regardless. There is no reason to be overexcited here. And Daniel Kildee, he won by a surprisingly big margin. Hillary Scholten won by a surprisingly big margin, outperforming Biden by more than 4 points. So yeah, I never had a lot of faith in John Gibbs, but I could never predict the extent of which many YouTubers and yeah, many Trump supporters overestimated him. That was beyond my imagination. In the state of Minnesota, this is not the time NJ Craig loses. The Republicans have had plenty of chances to beat her before, and they failed. And with plenty, I mean 3. 2018, 2020, and 2022. Mississippi, nothing. Missouri, well, nothing, since the map, since the Republicans drew a map that would keep Emmanuel Cleaver. Montana, well, I don't know if Zinke is running for Senate, but that one is probably going to be likely, or anyway. Yes, his margin wasn't the biggest one, but presidential election year. And you know what? John Tester, he could actually put that one into play, but I don't think it will flip anyway. John Tester might win this district. He probably will, but it won't matter. Nebraska with Don Bacon. Is he running for re-election? I believe he might. And I also believe that he will win if he is running for re-election. He is a... well, many are calling him a rhino, but it is winning in a very suburban and blue district. Now, Nevada, one of the biggest disappointment of election night. The fact that Laxalt lost. Well, that was depressing. That was one of the biggest defeats, and the people actually voted for Catherine Cortez Masto after 2 years with her and Biden in charge. Yeah, but you can't trust all the people of Nevada to make good, informative decisions all the time with all the money that the Democrats have to spend on propaganda. So all of them voted for the Democrats by 4 points or more. Right. So let's say they are all going to start as lean, if not likely Democratic. Let's do lean. It was a surprisingly bad year for the Republicans in Nevada, so I don't think we will take that any longer. New Hampshire, that might have something, but I don't believe so. We're going to put it as likely. Another big disappointment. The Republican candidate in Senate was, of course, the one of the worst in the country, but the fact that Carolyn Lynn Levitt also lost by such a big margin, that was a disappointment as well. Now you have Tom Keane, who are actually standing right now as toss-up in the consensus, and I don't understand why. He is the incumbent, and he won by 2.8, not the narrowest of margins. And I would actually prefer to have it as likely, because he would be the incumbent in the presidential year, but let's do lean right now to not stretch it too far. They might have access to data that I have not had access to yet. New Mexico is one big mess. That one is not going to flip. I mean, Gabriel Vasquez is actually in the consensus at the toss-up, but he defeated a Republican incumbent last time, when it was so narrow. So this time he is the incumbent again in the presidential election year. So, well, there you have it. Let's see, New Mexico, New York. This is a very exciting one. First of all, Joseph Morel, he's not going to lose, come on. These 6 districts are the ones we are looking at. And I believe Pat Ryan is going to win, if not even likely. Let's just have it lean right now. I'm not going to get too deep into that. The first Republican I think will win and not have too big problems with it is actually Mr. Mark Molinaro. I also think Brandon Williams is going to win. His district voted for a Republican named John Katko a couple of times. And then you come to the New York City area. Okay, maybe now I was a bit too fast. You have to talk about Mike Lawler, who is one of the more endangered Republicans in the state. Won narrowly, but that was against a quite strong incumbent, really. And yes, it was spent a lot of money, but yeah, it is a stretch. It is a big stretch. We're going to put it as a tilt Democratic for now, and then you can go to Long Island. George Santos and Anthony Esposito. If Santos actually runs for re-election, that one is already lean Democratic. Esposito's district is just so blue, it voted for Biden by 14.5 points. It's the bluest district that the Republicans won, and because of that I think it takes a lot for him to be able to win re-election. Too much. North Carolina, this one is exciting because people are talking about redistricting being able to completely overturn the results, but until that has happened, I will predict as if nothing has happened. And yes, here you have it. Don Davis, he is a freshman, as well as Willie Nickel, and they both won, but Davis did worse than Biden, while Nickel did better. And that was basically the opposite of what the Republicans needed. They needed a win and they got 2 losses. Now, given that many say that Don Davis's district is one trending red, but right now I'm going to put them both as lean Democratic because there's just no reason for Republicans to get their hopes up yet. This is a very depressing scenario, I know, but it is what it is. Alright, now we have Ohio, a state where the Republicans won all the toss-up districts Democrats won all the toss-up districts. It basically went completely out of hand for the GOP, and Greg Landsman is in a Democratic trending district, so he will win. Marcy Kaptur will probably win too, but I don't think it will be safe. I think it will be likely. And Amelia Sykes, well, that one is difficult. It is difficult. This is one that Trump didn't win in 2020 when he basically ran the table in the rest of the state, so I guess she has the advantage. Alright, terrible map by the Ohio legislature. Let's go on to Oklahoma. That one is not going to break up. Oregon. Some relief in Oregon. I believe Lori Chavez DeRemer is going to win her seat for re-election. And there was a lot of disappointment in the rest of the states. But Andrea Salinas, she won by a very narrow margin in the end. I think that this time it could be close, but it really depends. Oregon might be less competitive in a presidential year than in a off year. Pennsylvania, one of the big ones, and one of the bigger disappointments in the US House and Senate and the governor races in 2022. So, is there any reason to get excited about anything of this? Not really. If DeSantis is the candidate, I could put some of these as tilt R immediately, but right now it is just another resource for endless depression. So nothing in Pennsylvania. Rhode Island, is that even? Yes, it is. This time I think it was safe. There was one chance Republicans had, it couldn't be done then, and it can't be done now. Nothing in Tennessee. Texas, Republicans will actually hold this district in the Rio Grande Valley. Monica de la Cruz, they will not flip this one. Nothing more in Texas, and of course this is shaping out to be a very close map. We go on to Virginia, where I believe that all of the incumbents will win, including Jen Kiggins, who I think is either lean or likely. I'm going to put likely because now she's the incumbent. And Glenn Youngkin has sort of strengthened the Republican Party of Virginia to a certain degree. And she won by 3.4. She did not win by that narrow. She won by 3.4 and she defeated an incumbent. So, yeah, she was probably a strong candidate. Now, Washington. This one, oh my god, Washington. Not only did Smollett she did worse than expected, and she could not pull over the candidacy of Joe Kent. But I was really surprised that people actually turned away from Joe Kent to such a degree. But I think that that's not going to last. I think this time it will flip back. Unfortunately, the 8th district is now reliably in the Democratic hands. Let's see. Yeah, the only state remaining is Wisconsin, where I think there will be a hold for Van Orden, unless there is redistricting. And the same for Brian Steele. Redistricting could completely blow this up. And there you have it. It is 215 to 220. Republicans keep control of the House, but redistricting could change it. Maybe the Wisconsin map goes, maybe the Ohio map goes, and maybe the North Carolina map goes. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Please like this video, and I'll see you next time.